Hi guys, today we'll be working on Kwik Sew 4028.
Okay, so I have piece 1 and piece 3, and I have my fabric folded right sides facing with the selvage edges meeting. Now the instructions for these pattern pieces is to cut both of these pieces on the fold. However, I don't want to waste any fabric, so I'm going to cut my front piece on the fold, which is piece number 1, and I'm going to cut my back piece, which is piece number 3. I'm going to cut 2 pieces. So if you decide to do this, one very important thing you want to make sure that you do, you want to add 5/8 of an inch seam allowance to your back piece. Now seam allowance is already on the sides, but if I cut 2 pieces and I don't add the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance to the center back, my back piece is going to be smaller than my front piece and the pieces will not fit together correctly. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to place it on the edge of my back piece, which is, this is the center back. And I'm going to add 5/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to cut around my fabric. Now that I have my front and back pieces cut, I'm going to now cut my collar, which is piece number 2, and I'm cutting one piece on the fold. Make sure you cut any notches. The front and back piece did not have any notches to cut, but the collar does. So I cut out a medium, so I'm going to make sure I make a notch by the medium triangles on both sides. Now that we have all 3 pieces cut out, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my piece 3, which is my back piece, and remember I cut 2 pieces for the back piece instead of cutting one on the fold. So I need to take my back piece to the sewing machine and sew down this center back. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pin this together. Right now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew down this center back seam. If you cut your piece on the fold, you can skip this step and I'll meet you back here and show you how to put the front piece and the back piece together. Now I've sewn that center back seam on my back piece. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my piece number 1, which is my front piece, and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to place my front and back piece together with right sides facing. Now that I have right sides facing, I'm going to pin at the shoulder seams on both sides, and then I'm going to pin down the side seams. Now that I have my shoulder seams and my side seams pinned together, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and sew down each side. Now that we have our front and back pieces sewn together, I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to work on the collar now. This is piece number 2. This is your collar, and we cut 1 on the fold. This is our fold. We're going to pin down this side. Now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to sew down this edge. Now that we have our collar sewn together, what we're going to do, we're going to take our collar and we're going to place the edges together and flip it so that the wrong sides are facing. Now you want to make sure you cut notches on this. You want to make sure that your notches are matching on both sides. That's how you know that you flip your collar together correctly and the wrong sides are facing. So now what we're going to do, we're going to flip our shirt so that the right sides are facing, meaning that the wrong side is facing you. And we're going to take our collar and we're going to pin our collar to the right side of our shirt, meaning we're going to put our collar on the inside of the shirt. Now remember, your collar has the wrong sides facing, so your collar, the right side of your collar should be showing. So this center back seam is actually helping me out now. You can use the notches in the shirt to pin to your shoulder seams. Now make sure you use as many pins as you need to, and remember you're pinning through 3 layers because the collar has 2 layers and your shirt is 1 layer. Now once you have everything pinned, you take this to the sewing machine and you sew all the way around. And you are all done. All you have to do now is take it to the ironing board and give it a good press, and you have a quick and easy shirt with a cowl neck collar. And if you make your own shirt using Kwik Sew 4028, don't forget to tag me on social media at Legionero, and I'll see you in my next video.